In a burgeoning suburb outside of Denver,
Come here, Munchkin.
Jeremy Votaw wrangles his 3 kids for the day
I gotta get dressed.
and recalls that 3 years ago, his marriage to their mother Allison died, killed by another woman.
I believe in traditional marriage.
And after 13 years of matrimony, the couple divorced.
Can we talk about Corinne?
Let's see where it goes.
She had taken my husband away. I didn't like her. I didn't like her at all.
Corinne entered the Votaw's life in 2013. She was closer to Jeremy than Allison ever imagined.
But I came home from work one day and found clothing that was female clothing that wasn't mine. And, I think most women would think that must belong to some other woman. And that thought didn't cross my mind. I knew it was his.
Allison says she finally faced the difficult truth, something she had suspected for years, that Jeremy is transgender and Corinne is Jeremy's female expression.
To be quite honest, I kept from my wife before I married her.
As a boy growing up in Utah, Jeremy knew as young as 4 years old that he was different.
I wasn't really allowed to buy the books I wanted to buy.
And what would those books have been?
Princess stories. I knew it was so wrong, to have a feminine side that, I did absolutely everything I could to not give in to that.
In those days, telling someone you're transgender was unheard of, even more so for Jeremy.
I'm good at being vice chair.
Whose father is Rick Votaw, a Republican Party power broker, who is the former vice chair of the Salt Lake County Republican Party.
We have moved off the mark.
In 2010, Rick Votaw got in trouble for making disparaging comments about gay protesters at the Capitol.
My family growing up was a good Mormon household. I was told my entire life, really up until maybe 5 or 6 years ago, that this was evil.
He says he stuffed away his female side, tried to be his father's son, even ran for Salt Lake County clerk in 2010, but Corinne, he says, was always there, and so was his desperate confusion.
There were times in your life when you wanted to die.
Yeah. I figured if I was inherently evil as was taught to me when I was young, what is the point, really, of going on?
And in 2013, he made a dramatic decision.
I said, okay, I'm going to transition for a period of a year.
And that included changing your name legally.
Changing my name, changing my gender markers, having all the things done necessary in order to live life as a woman.
And on a cold January night, Jeremy, dressed as Corinne, revealed himself for the first time to Allison.
It was a person kind of like my husband, but at the same time, it wasn't my husband. It wasn't like my husband had died, and I knew that someday I'd see him again. He was gone. He was right in front of me in female form, but he was gone. I had completely lost my husband, and I had no hope of ever having him again.
And with that, the marriage dissolved. He moved out, and he struggled with the loss of his family and discrimination, including threats while simply trying to use a washroom in Utah.
I've been pushed, called names, derogatory names, or not allowed to use a restroom. That's definitely resulted in a couple times where I felt my life was in danger.
All the while, his LDS bishopric allowed him to keep the priesthood and attend church.
They understood that this was something I was struggling with.
Jeremy says it kept him connected to his faith. Andy says after a year as Corinne, he was able to find a balance as both female and male. Most of the time as Jeremy.
Some shoes more feminine than other shoes.
And some of the time as Corinne.
You're like smiling and happy.
And over time, Jeremy and Allison reunited and remarried. A couple reborn, they say, based in new trust.
We learned, most importantly, just to be honest about it.
The only way I really can exist in this family is by adopting basically that blend of the good parts of the feminine self and the good parts of the masculine self and putting those together.
So you're a little bit of all of it, right?
Yeah.
You're a little bit feminine, you're a little bit female,
I'm a little bit rock and roll.
a little bit country.
I had a dream my life would be.
Now they are rewriting the music of their lives.
Oh, we're always down here, that's why.
It's not always perfect, but they say they are trying to find new harmony.
Are you happier now than you've ever been?
Yes, no, without a doubt.
I dream.